What's up, you guys? It's your girl Mo Christine. On today's episode of Kicking It, we've got Sean, aka Scholar23 on Instagram. Now, he has a love for Jordans, a dope collection, and huge knowledge of kicks. So I had to get him on the show. Let's go. All right. Hello.
Hey.
Thank you so much for kicking it with me.
Thanks for having me on.
Now, Jumpman Bostic referred you to me, and I was super excited to get you on the show because I know you guys got some experience in the sneaker game.
That's a nice way of saying we're old. Yes. Very nice. Very kind of you.
You just have a lot more experience in the game and a lot more stories maybe to tell us.
You've been around a while, yeah.
Yeah. So for those that may not know you, give us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Sean Collard. I go by Scholar23 on Instagram. I'm also on a podcast called the Sneaker Podcast. That's based out of here in Montreal, where I live. I mean, passionate about sneakers for as long as I can remember, since I was probably 10, 11, maybe even 9, and I'm 47 years old, so it's been the vast majority of my life I've been loving sneakers. So it's surprisingly hasn't gone away. It's getting stronger and stronger for some reason.
I know. I mean, like there are releases like every day.
It's crazy.
So you can't help but want the shoes.
Exactly. And when I was growing up, it was in my teenage year, it was you get like, if in terms of Jordans, you'd get like 4 releases a year. And now it's like every weekend, multiple releases every weekend. It's crazy. Yeah. It's great. It's great in many ways, but sometimes it's like overwhelming.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
You say you're from Montreal. Yay.
Yeah.
I love when I get some Canadians.
Canada.
I got some locals, but I never got Montreal, so I'm really.
Oh, nice.
I'm really excited to have you on. So you said when you're 12, that's when the sneaker love.
I would even go before that. Yeah, I think I started playing basketball when I was about 8 years old, and by the time I was 9, I was playing on the city team. We would travel around the city playing at different teams and stuff. And I remember, so we're talking like 1982. My God, I know you guys are all, your viewers and listeners are probably going, "He's that old." I really am that old. But yeah, so I remember Magic Johnson was my first basketball idol, and he at the time was wearing Converse Pro Stars, and I remember vividly at 9 years old telling my mom I want these Converse Pro Stars that Magic Johnson's wearing, and I was lucky enough to get them. So I remember like that young, at 9, 10 years old, I was like, I wanted these Pro Stars, and it was sort of just happened naturally. Like when you play basketball, you just like there was a natural thing to just want the sneakers that your favorite players are wearing, and that's crazy. It's still happening to this day. With LeBron and Kyrie and guys like that. But so I started with the Converse Pro Star, and then around 1945, this little guy named Michael Jordan came around and then took over my world. I mean, I was always a Magic fan, but I think around 1986, I got my first. I was begging my mom because I'd seen these. Again, living in Canada, we didn't get a lot of the stuff that people get in the States got, right? So and in terms of like if I want to get a sneaker and I had to go downtown to get it, like downtown Montreal from where I lived in the western part of Montreal was like, it might as well have been having to drive to like England, take a boat to England or something, because it seemed so distant.
Yeah. So
it was like, and the information, there was no internet, so it's like you're hearing stuff through people at stores, and you would see other people's feet though at like tournaments and stuff. So when I was 12, I remember going to tournaments and seeing the older guys play, and I'd see these Jordans, these Air Jordans. I didn't know what they had, this cool looking Wings logo on the side, and I was like, is that a Jordan? No, that's a Dunk. That's a whatever else. But I'd always look for that Wings logo, and so I wanted. And then of course you'd see Michael Jordan play, and that was it, man. It was like you had to. It was so exciting watching him play, but getting his shoes was a different story because I didn't know where to get them. And they were a little too expensive at the time. They were 65 US. So I don't remember what they were Canadian, and it was even harder to find. I remember going through a mall in the West Island of Montreal and going to this mom and pop shop in this mall, and they had the what are now known as the AJKOs. Everybody knows the AJKOs, the canvas. I was like, they look like the shoes I want, but they're canvas. It doesn't say Air Jordan on the side. and it was like a weird looking thing. It was kind of what I wanted, but they were $19.99. So my mom, who was like, no way to the original Air, like the leather version of the Air Jordans, was like, well, if you get a good, do a good job on your report card this next term, whatever it is, I'll buy you these Air Jordans or these sneakers, whatever you wanted. And so because $19.99, you couldn't go wrong, right? So that was actually my first pair of Air Jordans, was the AJKOs, which actually have the retro up here, so I can show you guys. I guess you can see the pictures of the retros or the shoes. But yeah, this was actually, and this is not the actual shoe that I had, but this was a retro, the first Jordan I ever had, and then it took off from there, and it was I was obsessed. I've been obsessed with Jordans really since the Air Jordan 2, which not many people like, but those are actually my favorites.
Wow. So your Instagram name is Scholar23, so I'm sure the 23 is because
Michael Jordan. Yeah.
Strictly Jordans?
I would say strictly Nikes. Mostly Jordans. I would say a good 80% of my collection is probably Jordans. But I like a lot of various other Nikes. I love Converse too. That was one of my first love, like I told you, back with Magic Johnson being my first basketball hero. So I still have my love for Converse. I don't really go outside Nike Jordan. I have a couple of pairs. The irony is that I have a couple of pairs of Adidas. One is a rivalry low. I was a Ewing fan back in the day, Patrick Ewing fan, and he wore the rivalries, and so I got a rivalry low to go with my Patrick Ewing t-shirt. That's the only pair of Adidas I've ever purchased myself. And then I was actually seeded a pair of Adidas by Adidas Canada. And it was like the weirdest thing when I got this email that I was getting seeded this pair, because I'm like, have you not seen my Instagram page? You've not seen any Adidas, anything else besides Nike and Jordan. But
they're trying to change your.
Yes, they were trying to pull me to the dark side. Didn't work. But I appreciated the free pair of sneakers. Yeah.
I mean, did you wear them?
I've never worn them. No, they were what was it called? The Adidas Pro Bounce, I think. Pro Bounce. They were the Kyle Lowry, like a PE for Kyle Lowry. So they were. It was a pretty dope pair, but I just never. I've been intending to give them to someone who might need a pair, because I'm never going to wear them probably, and so I'm going to try to find someone. I know, like, I'm a teacher, so I know various high school teachers at various high schools in Montreal. I'll see if there's a kid who needs a pair of sneakers to wear, and maybe I'll donate those.
I mean, that'd be nice. I mean, someone they might be like,
for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so how many pairs do you have?
I haven't counted in a while. The last time I counted was probably a year ago, and it was about 450. So it's around 500 pairs at this point. Yeah, it's a sickness. And I don't get rid of anything either. So, like, I literally only sold 3 pairs of sneakers in my life, and literally was in like the last 2 weeks, because the game is getting really tough nowadays. So I needed a pair of sneakers. So my friends in the podcast with me, Chris and Mike, were like, you got to sell a couple of pairs of sneakers and you'll have whatever shoes you want. So I did. I sold a couple of pairs of sneakers that I had doubles of that I got years ago, and I got a great price for them. And so I bought actually the Chicago AJKOs. So I got those recently. But so yeah, long story short, I've never really sold a pair of sneakers. I've donated a couple here and there to like some organizations, but I've not. So I don't get rid of anything, and so I've kept a lot of sneakers for a long time.
So then, how's your rotation? Like, I'm sure you forget about pairs.
I absolutely. That's really a sad part of this whole thing. I do genuinely forget that I own pairs. People will post something on Instagram, I'm like, oh my god, I forgot I have those, and they're like sitting in a box and they're like brand new. So I'll bust them out, and I'll make a point to wear them if I've forgotten about them. But yeah, the rotation, and because I'm a teacher, I can wear whatever sneakers I want to school. So I've been doing that a lot. I've been pushing myself to wear a lot more, I guess, quote unquote, heat to work the last couple of years, because I usually would like reserve my sort of higher end or my personal favorites for like special occasions. But with COVID, what special occasions are there the last couple of years, right?
Yeah.
So I've now been pushing myself to like, okay, I'll wear a pair of this to go to the mall. I'll wear a pair of that to go to work or whatever. So I have a pretty wide rotation. A lot of Jordan 1s, a lot of Air Max 90s, Air Max 1s, because they're more comfortable. Jordan 4s, Jordan 11s. I have a wide variety of stuff that I'll wear to work and stuff. So wide, yeah.
Would you say you have one of each Jordan, like from like the numbers? Do you have one of each?
I don't. I don't have. I really didn't like the Air Jordan 20. That strap just killed me, and I don't own a Jordan 2009. So there was a Jordan for some reason they went back to calling them by years that year for a couple of years. The Jordan 2009 and the Jordan 20 are the only two pairs I don't know, two models I don't know of Air Jordans.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you have it organized? Like, do you have a sneaker room?
I have a sneaker room. Luckily, or unluckily, people love kids, but I don't have any kids. So long story short, I don't have any kids. So we have the whole house to ourselves, my wife and I. And so I have a dedicated sneaker room in my basement. I have racks set up and closets. And so I can't say that I know exactly where everything is, but there's not really, I don't have it like by number, like model number or whatever. I kind of know where everything is. I do have one rack that's all just Jordan 1s though. So one rack is just Jordan 1s. And then I have a few Jordan 1s scattered other places, but mostly that one rack is all Jordan 1s, and everything else is kind of mixed matched all over the place.
Do you have them in the original boxes or in the container?
Oh yeah, I keep the boxes. I can't bring myself to do the drop fronts and stuff like that, because I find that the boxes themselves are like part of the sneaker story. So I love keeping the boxes. And then the other part is I find that like the drop fronts, they're see-through, so it might let too much light in and the stuff might yellow a little faster. So I can't bring myself to do the drop fronts.
Speaking of stories, is there a design behind one of the Jordans that, like, the stories that is your favorite?
Well, I mean, my favorite Jordan is the Jordan 2, and I'll show you. This is my 95 retro pair of the Jordan 2s. And that was the story behind it is, I mean, everybody kind of credits the Jordan 3 with being revolutionary, and like they took the Nike swoosh off the side and all that stuff. But if you look at the Jordan 2, there was no Nike swoosh on this sneaker anywhere. They were the first to put the logo on the front, on the tongue. And they were designed in Italy. Like they were the first really high end, maybe not the first high end, but they were up there with first high end basketball sneaker back in 1986, 87. And I fell in love with it when I was a 13-year-old kid. I had just seen Michael Jordan, win the dunk contest for the first time in 1987, and I didn't know what those sneakers were, but I wanted to get them. And I saw a commercial of him for the Air Jordan 2. Maybe people have seen it. It's called the Imagination commercial, where he's in a dark gym and there's a baseline and he does the rock to cradle dunk. And at one point in the commercial, it looks like he's walking up an invisible flight of stairs, and it blew my mind. And the tagline at the end was Air Jordan, it's all in the imagination. It was like, it blew me away. And so I immediately became obsessed with the Jordan 2. But I was 13 years old and I grew up very fast at the time. So my mom was like, they're super expensive too. They were $100 US back in 87. So that's like a lot. And I'm 6'5" now, and I grew like nothing for me to grow like 3-4 inches in the summer. So my mom's like, hell no, I'm not paying $100 American for a pair of sneakers. So I've been obsessed. That what she didn't know is that would make me obsessed with them for like the last 35 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so that again, it's made in Italy, Italian leather. I mean, a design like no one had ever seen before. Because if you look at most Nike basketball sneakers were basically like the swoosh and a regular, like a dunk upper, or they all look kind of similar. And basketball sneakers back in the day, they were all, except for Jordans, they were added color, but they were basically all the same, like a white sneaker with a whatever colored logo on it. But then this was like the Jordan 2 was like an Italian leather, like faux lizard skin. Like what the hell is that? So it was just unlike anything I'd ever seen before. So that's probably my favorite design ever and sneaker story ever, was just how different the Jordan 2 was apart from every other basketball sneaker I've ever seen before.
Yeah, the 2 changed the game for you.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely, yeah.
So how many pairs of 2s do you
have? Probably around 30 pairs of 2s, I think, something like that. So yeah, I know, and that's crazy. And there's a lot of doubles in there. There's a lot of doubles.
Yeah.
So because they're my favorite, and I don't genuinely go for like crazy colorways of the 2s. Like I more prefer like I'm pretty what's the word I'm looking for? I'm pretty like old school when it comes to the 2s. Like I'm set in my ways. So basic colorway, like white upper with some accents. colored accents, but besides that, I'm not really a big fan of Dawn C2 stuff like that. There's been a few colorways that I've liked of other, like there's a female, like a women's release. I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, there's a few releases of like non-OG colors I've liked, but I'm pretty basic when it comes to my colorways of the two. So I don't have as many as I like, but I'm hoping to get more.
30's not enough.
There's not enough for me. No, it's not enough.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I have way more. Oddly enough, my favorite sneakers are two, but I have way more ones than I have twos. I probably have 60 pairs of ones. So go figure that. I don't know how that works out, but that's how many pairs of ones I have.
Oh, and you see now, like, everyone wants the ones.
Right. Well, this is the thing. With the first pair of sneakers I ever sold, or two of them were Jordan 1s that I picked up in 2013. They were the black toe ones and the Royals from 2013. They were a size bigger for me, so they were too big for me anyway, but I had doubles of them. So I didn't mind, and they were DS, and so I got like a stupid amount of money for these two sneakers that not only was I able to buy the AJKOs that just came out, the Chicago's, but I had a little mortgage payment on top of it all. Yeah, it's crazy. The people have gone nuts for the ones the past couple of years. It's not crazy.
It is crazy. What is your take on the reselling?
I mean, I can't knock anybody's hustles, right? I mean, this is it's a reality of what we have to live right now. But the only thing that bothers me is when I understand like the hype sneakers that are like the a la Manière sneakers or the Travis Scotts or I'm on Manière, sorry, not a la Manière, but the Travis Scotts or the all those hype sneakers I get it because they're gonna make a good chunk of money. Even the Jordan 1s, I guess, because they sell so well nowadays, but. What I can't take is like the sneakers that are like they're gonna make like $20 on, and the resellers are still snatching them up. I'm like, what? You really need to like take a sneaker away from someone who wants it to make $20? Really? So that's the only side of the sneaker reselling game that I'm not a fan of. That and a lot of my friends in the States complain because they can't get anything off sneakers anymore. So I feel bad for them, but we don't have sneakers really up here in Canada. So
we don't have much.
We don't have much. They're holding back on us, I think. Yeah,
like give us a shot.
Something, we have a sneakers website. It's Sneakers Canada, but it's just a website. It's not even an app. It's just the Sneakers Canada.
Yeah, we always get the short end of the stick.
Yeah, exactly.
Are there any collections that you admire? Other collectors?
I mean, Bostic has to be up there. It's probably my top because the thing that's crazy about him is not only does he have like 1,500 pairs of Jordans, he buys everything. So your fusions, he buys sneakers that some people are ashamed to buy. And I love him. I love Mark. So he's one of the greatest guys ever. And I got a chance to meet him a few years ago. We both displayed it at Soul Exchange Canada here in Montreal. And like the most down-to-earth, warm-hearted guy you'll ever meet. Like so not that people think of him as this legend. He's just, and he always tell, I'm Mark, like I'm Bostic. I'm just that guy. I'm nobody. Yeah. And that's how we all feel too, because we may have like followings and stuff on Instagram or podcasts or whatever, but really we're just in this because we love the sneakers and we're passionate about it. But so I guess long story short, he's probably one of my favorite collectors and collections of all time. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a lot. I don't know how. He's 1,500.
Around there, yeah, and he doesn't get rid of anything either. So he's like,
and even like the memorabilia and all the other guys, I'm just like, wow.
He definitely needs the basement of the Jays because I don't know where he does. He can't just put stuff in a room. He needs like a full basement. So God bless him for curating all that stuff. Because I have like a lot of memorabilia, but it's just I don't like collect memorabilia. It's just stuff I've happened to keep from the time I got it when I was like a teenager and stuff in high school. So I have some stuff, but not. I can't really go down that path because then my whole house will be filled with stuff.
Yeah,
I'm a bit of a hoarder.
Is your wife into sneakers too?
She's totally Well, I got her into sneakers. Yeah, she's super supportive. So I'm very, very lucky that she's very, very supportive of my addiction, and she has a nice little collection of her own. She has a few sneakers, a few pairs that I'm a little jealous of myself. Cool. She has the Shattered Backboard 2.0s. I couldn't get those, and we're very happy that I'm very happy that I've managed to find a woman who's very supportive of my hobby.
Are there any words of advice that you have for like the new generation collector sneakerheads?
I mean, my go-to is always just buy what you like and don't worry about what you see on Instagram. I mean, it really just, or on TikTok, wherever you're seeing your people showing their sneakers, and don't try not to get caught up in, what the most hype thing is. And if that's what you're into, if you're into the hype, that's great, but just buy what you like. Cause I'll often get, messages from younger sneakerheads, and they're like, I want to get on your level, and what should I get? And what sneaker should I buy to get on your level? I'm like, I can't tell you what to buy. Just find something that speaks to you, and stick with it. And if you're into one sneaker and you want to call yourself a sneakerhead, I'm all for it. Like, just don't worry about labeling yourself a sneakerhead. I want to be a sneakerhead. That's been the sort of strangest thing being in this for so long, is that a certain point I realized people started, I'm going to be like deciding to become sneakerheads. It was because for people, I guess my age, and kind of came up with it through basketball and sports and stuff, it was just a natural progression for like we want to wear the sneakers of your favorite athletes. So whether it's a basketball player or Andre Agassi, a tennis player, or whatever, it was sort of a natural thing, organic thing. And now it's like, I want to become a sneakerhead. And I'm like, just if you love sneakers, and you love sneakers, you don't have to like choose. If you want to, sure, but but I guess my main thing is just find something that you like and stick and go with that. Don't worry about what other people are saying or doing, or and then you'll be with us for a long time, because I find a lot of kids, they want to become part of this culture, and it's cool for a minute, and then it gets either difficult, or they can't get the sneakers they want, and they're done. So if you're in it for the right reasons, I think you'll be in it for the long haul. And just again, buy what you like. The one phrase after all that blabbing.
Buy what you like. No pressure,
Exactly.
All right. Okay. So let's start kicking it. The 3 questions I ask everyone. What are your top 3 go-to / favorite pairs? And we want to see them.
Sure. Okay. So my top 3 go-tos, number 1 would probably be a white cement 3. This is my 94 retro. So it's got the Nike on the back. It's a little old. I don't wear these ones. I do have a pair from 2003 that I wear. But the white cement 3 was actually one of my, it's my second pair of Jordans I ever got in 1988. So they're very special to me, and you can't go wrong with a pair of white cement 3s, because they go with everything, and they'll always look dope, no matter how old they get.
Have you worn those or no?
This pair I have not worn. No, they're still factory unlaced, so I haven't worn this pair. But I have a pair from 2003, or actually 3 pairs from 2003, one of which I wear, and they're still holding up, believe it or not, after all these years. Yeah.
All right. What's
second pair is a Chicago 1. This is I got in 1996 for $40. This pair I wear a lot, and it still looks pretty damn good, if you say so myself. But Chicago 1s, obviously 1s are huge right now, but it's been a classic model for decades at this point. And again, you can't go wrong with a Jordan 1, and especially in Chicago colorway. So this is one of my favorites of all time. This I decided to bring out some old sneakers. So this is my Jordan 4. They call them the Breads nowadays, but back in the day they were just called the Black Cements. And so these are my original pair from 1989 that my grandmother bought me when I was 15. But I love the Jordan 4s in general. Black Cement or Bread, whatever you want to call them. They're my favorites, one of my favorites of all time. And just a classic. So I've had this one's, I gotta be careful because this one's actually falling apart. Wow. But those are my top 3 of all time. And well, I mean, the 2's my like the ultimate. The 2's like another level for me. So but these are my top 3 of the other stuff. Yeah.
Wow. Shout out to grandma for those.
My grandmother, my poor grandparents, in 1989, they took me to Florida for a couple of weeks, and I dragged them all over Florida looking for a pair of these sneakers. We didn't find them anywhere, and I was pretty disappointed. But then later that summer, this was like in January, I guess, like right after like this Christmas break, and couldn't find them anywhere. My grandfather was like, please, no more sneaker stores. And it's like, I'm 15, I'm dragging my poor grandparents to sneaker stores all over the east coast of Florida. And then I walked into the local Foot Locker in Montreal near me, and like literally 5 minutes from my house. And I walked in, and they were sitting on the shelf. They had gotten a late shipment in the summer of 1989. And I called my grandmother and said, like, Nan, I call her Nan. I said, Nan, you're not gonna believe all the sneakers I dragged you all over the Florida for. They're at Fairview, the mall near our house. So, and we laughed about it, haha. about an hour later, my doorbell rings, and my grandmother's holding a Foot Locker bag. I open up, my grandma's holding a Foot Locker bag, and these are the shoes that she bought me. She bought me the black cement 4s. And so I still have them to this day, and it's one of my very, very special pairs. But yeah, shout out to Nan. She is my true OG plug.
Yes, that's like mental, you know.
Right? Yeah, you can't get much better than that. Like a sneaker I've had for 32 years at this point, and purchased by my grandmother, and great story along with it. Yeah, one of my favorites.
I love it. Okay, so
Thanks.
are there any past releases that you wish you copped?
I can't say I can't say I've passed on. If I've passed on something, it's because it's for a reason. So I can't say I've regretted too many things. I can't say I have too many regrets. I have so many. How can I regret? I've got 500 pairs of sneakers. What regrets could I possibly have at this point? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any upcoming releases that you plan on going for?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Cool Gray 11s coming up in the holiday season. Those I have only the 2010 release of those, and there just might be a Jordan 2 in the future that's coming out that Jordan Brand hasn't released or talked about yet. But I'm looking forward to a pair of those, hopefully, either this year or early next. Yeah.
I mean, they need to just send you it.
I hope so. They actually contacted me about it, so I'm hoping they will send me a pair.
Yeah, you deserve it.
I don't know I'm happy to pay for anything. I just want access. All I ask for is access. That's all I want.
Okay. Well, I will be watching your page to see if you get whatever you get.
I thank you. You'll know very quickly after I get it.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
Post it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you so much. So you answered the Kicking It questions. Now it's time for the Soul for Troll.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
Solo Troll. I saw that on your I saw the post earlier. Yes.
You know, just to add some fun to the show.
Sure.
It's gonna be, I don't know, who knows what we're gonna get. Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Would you rather bathe in the dishwater or wash dishes in your bathwater?
Ooh. Oh man.
This one
I guess that's both gross. I guess bathe in the dishwater, because I don't want to eat off a plate that's been washed with bathe stuff in. No, yeah, I guess I'd have to bathe in the dishwater. And then can I run through a hose after or something?
Winning with either one.
I know. These would you rathers are tough sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, so all right, so you answered that one. That wasn't too bad.
Not too bad. I got off easy, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you so much for kicking it with me.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
No problem. I appreciate you. And I guess I will kick it with you another time.
Sounds good.
All right. See ya.
Bye.